All right, Anastasia.
Yes.
Anastasia, where did you grow up? Where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Russia, Smolensk, Yartseva.
Oh, really?
Yes.
And you came to the United States when?
I was 9.
So your parents moved here?
I don't have parents.
Who raised you?
I actually grew up in an orphanage in Russia and got adopted from Russia out here at the fall of the communism in the United States. So I was the first group of kids to get rescued from Russia, kind of adopted. And I came out with a family that actually gave me back up for adoption because they really only wanted the tax write-off and to look good for the, their family and people around them, that they adopted Russian kids.
Wow.
Literally, they admitted it to the courts when they gave me back up, so.
And you went to another family?
I stayed up in foster care for the rest of my childhood.
So from ages what to what? You had no parents?
Really, I mean, I was with the year with the family.
Oh, only
so
a year?
I don't even really count it.
So you grew up without parents, basically?
Yeah, never had family.
How do you think the childhood you had with no parents has affected you as an adult?
It's damaged a lot.
I'm sure.
Of me. I can't be in a relationship whatsoever, you feel me? Because, I mean, the biggest thing about, life is that when you're newborn, you feel me, you're supposed to be held, loved, nurtured, and cared, and that's the thing I never had. So I was, straight from the beginning, I was just orphanage, so there's 300 kids in there, you feel me, it's poverty.
You probably never saw
Never seen
a loving relationship.
Yeah, never felt it, never was held, even picked up as a baby. So for me, it blocks it for me a lot. So I can't show love compared to somebody else can usually show it. Cause I still have that, I have a coldness, they call it my cold heart. Cause I just have a blockage. I can only love so far. So it gives me that little block in my life that I can't trust nobody, I can't do nothing like that.
Do you feel like you were ever loved by anyone?
No.
How old are you?
I'm about to be 30. Yep.
You went through school?
Yep.
Graduated high school?
I did, actually. I graduated early.
And what part of the U.S. were you in?
I actually did foster care most of my time in Utah, out of all places. When I came from America, though, I came to actually North Carolina. And that's where, it was also the craziest part of my life that people don't understand is that it was racist out there in North Carolina where I came from, Wilson. So I didn't know the language, English, you feel me? I only knew Russian, and I'm watching the whole environment around me, and I was actually treated worse than the blacks of that neighborhood, than the community out there.
Because you're Russian?
Because I came from Russia and I'm communism, and I was an alien to them. They've shunned me, they spoke disrespecting me, you feel me? I was locked in my room kind of stuff. I was just like a disgrace to the world, and.
Could any of that have been imagined by you?
No, I mean, I was literally it was just for me, I didn't understand the language, English at all at this point. And I'm just watching the kids in the town, we sat in the back of the classroom, the blacks did at this time, still to this day kind of stuff. And I remember the teacher even saying that the reason why their test scores were down were because of the niggers or whatever were the population of the group of the school. And that's why their test scores were down and stuff like that. One black family moved on the neighborhood and everybody put their houses up for sale. Everybody in the neighborhood. And it was what? I didn't understand it. But then I was locked in my room kind of stuff. I was made fun of at school. When I ever got to go to school, I wasn't even allowed to go to school until I spoke English. So it was just weird. And I could see this stuff. And I'm like, wait, you're in my same skin color. Why am I getting treated worse than these people? You know what I mean? And I didn't see black or whatever. I thought they were burnt. I've never seen that stuff in Russia at the time, orphanage. So it's just different for me. And then they're the ones that took care of me, brought me in on the, you know what I mean? They knew where I was coming from. You know what I mean? They nurtured me. An old lady used to give me cookies and milk, you feel me, after school, all that kind of stuff. So I've been able to just click more with that side.
Wow. And you've been living on the streets for how long?
Since I graduated actually high school and went to college, I was 16 when I graduated high school. Honor rolls and stuff like that. I beat the system. I figured out that the only way to get out of foster care was to get emancipated and to graduate with a high school diploma. And so that's what I did really, really fast. I got actually a sports scholarship to Utah Valley University at the same time.
What sport?
Basketball and volleyball. I was second string point guard and stuff like that. So I went from that to that. And I was 19. Yeah, 18, 19, middle of the year kind of stuff that I actually hurt my knee playing in college. Hurt my knee and I couldn't play no more. And that was like my main thing. And then foster care, because I still wasn't emancipated until you're 18. So they still had me like in the foster care system per se a little bit. So they refused to take me to school and they refused for the surgery that I need for my knee, you know what I mean? And so they held me back and I couldn't go finish my college, my whole semester. So made a no call, like no show, whatever. So I kind of got kicked out of my own school.
And where'd you go after that?
And after that, I literally ended up in California with my friend and introduced to the streets.
Is that where drugs started for you?
Drugs actually started for me actually in foster care. One of my foster families actually showed me methamphetamine. He took me to like a old apartment building, you feel me, no lights in it, whatever, and like a lot of Mexicans all in this one apartment, and like pipes are getting passed around, there's smoke everywhere, and that's where I learned about meth and stuff like that. And I found out that if I smoked meth, actually at the time I could stay up, I could protect myself for stuff that was happening in the foster home and take care of the other girls while they were sleeping, just because stuff kept on happening.
So was there abuse going on in the foster system?
Oh yeah, for sure. Anything that you could think of imaginable happened to me in foster care, for sure. Raped, to just mistreated completely, to being a slave, to actually got kidnapped for a little bit of time.
That probably started at a very early age.
Yeah, I was actually kidnapped at 12. Literally with some Mexicans. There's 9 of us girls in a basement kind of stuff. About to be sex trade, whatever, but yeah, so I went through a lot. Boarding school, all girls boarding school, 300 girls, all delinquents from everywhere. So that opened up my whole life to a lot of things too.
So you've been supporting yourself how?
I used to deal drugs. I did that for a couple years for sure. And then while I was dealing drugs, actually, I got introduced to a lot of pimps and other people in the game, per se, you know, off Sepulveda in California. Yep, right up there in the Valley. And they were buying drugs off me for their girls. And they keep on telling me, like, oh, look how good you look. You can make money like this. Look how my girls look. You feel me? Back then, they took care of the girls. Back then, you feel me? Not like now. But they just kept on, you know, spitting in my ear. And then I actually got a case on me in 2013.
For drugs?
For drugs, yeah, for drugs, transportation, like a lot of stuff. And they did a 2-year joint suspension on me. So right when I did that, I was like, I'm done. I'm cool, I'll leave. I left California into Arizona. But that is where I really started. But then like I said, in Arizona, I kind of squared up, you know, had to pretend I'm all good, and actually ended up having my son out there.
Oh, you have a son?
My first kid.
How many kids do you have?
I got 3 altogether.
And you
Got
raised?
2 boys and a girl.
You raised them?
My son, my first one is the only one I raised for at least a couple years. So.
And the kids are where now?
Well, my first son's with his sister, with his aunt or whatever. My second son's with the family, he got adopted. And my daughter is also adopted, just barely. Yep. So, yeah, it's changed a lot of me too. Made me a way different person.
Yeah. What emotions do you go through after all this?
I just try to go through another day. You know what I mean? Because every day, I just like, I don't think about it. I literally don't no more.
Do the drugs help you deal?
Yeah. That's the only reason why I use drugs, you know? Just so I don't have to think about everything, you know what I mean? Because I actually have bad anxiety. Anyways, I have bad anxiety. Like I am bad depression, whatever, PTSD or trauma. Because of stuff also, like being abused and all that kind of shit. So I just get high, not for sex or not stupid shit. Like just to keep normal, keep sane and be able to work with the community and be with everybody without feeling crazy and just depressed and shit, so.
And your drug is crystal meth?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where are you staying currently?
Right now, I'm back out here, downtown Skid Row. Right there in a freaking little tent, you know, but I don't know.
Sex work is still your support system?
I don't really have nobody, so every day's a struggle. I don't know, the government took away my fucking citizenship, actually, and questioned it, whatever, like a couple years ago, because I got in trouble with the law, whatever, and for some reason they checked my paperwork, whatever, and because of their mishap or mistake, unfortunately, it's crazy as hell to even hear this shit, but they made a mistake when I got adopted and readopted in America, whatever, from foster care and the adopted family. They had two identities they made on accident. They didn't file the paperwork correctly because it was back to back so fast. And so I had two identities in the system. So they started questioning like all that. And then they tried to call my family, my adopted family, to see if they proved who I am. Like that they agreed that they brought me from Russia, all that kind of shit. And they denied actually that they even like knew me or whatever, but it was crazy because I'm like, you guys are on my birth certificate of adoption, like, but you guys denied me. And then Russia, they got a hold of Russia embassy and they tried to question about like who I am. And unfortunately, which is even crazier, the orphanage I came from was fraud. And I don't exist in the system out there either. They can't find no paperwork on me, but they know of me and my family, which is crazy because my family background in Russia, my real bloodline is actually like Russian spy and like mob, KGB mob affiliated, I guess, whatever. And so like that's even more like crazy. Like, well, now I look even crazier, messed up out here in America.
Did you have an ID or social security number?
I did. I have two, apparently, in the system.
Oh, I see.
So, like, literally, they look me up in the system, fingerprint me, and I'll come up two different, same name, whatever, but just a little bit off, literally. So, I had a social and alien.
Do you have friends?
Do I have friends? Not really. I just choose not to because my whole life, I already know it's going to end. Per se, like any friendship, you know, or any kind of like thing with somebody else it's going to end at some point. We're going to separate, you know, there's going to be something that we're not going to see each other again.
So you enter the relationship assuming it's not going to work out?
Yeah, I just know it's not going to last. And so like for me, I'm always make a joke of it all the time. Like my bag's always packed. You know what I mean? I'm always ready to go. And I just already know, like, the only word I believe or trust is really God's word, because anybody else's word to me is like, it's nothing. You know what I mean? Because you can say that you're going to be there, you feel me, you're always going to be there, you care for me, or you got my back or whatever, but when push comes to shove, this shows always differently. You know what I mean? It just shows people's true colors, and it's never what it is. So I just built myself a wall already, just to accept that, and to just already be okay with it. So I just block it all.
Would you describe yourself as self-destructive?
I I don't know if that would be the right word. I don't know what it is. Like, kind of.
But it sounds like you sabotage relationships.
Yeah, I mean,
Given where you came from, it's understandable.
Yeah, I just more of a, I just don't have that trust in my own life and feelings to accept anything more and let it go farther than anything else.
Have you been in relationships like that lasted longer than a year or anything like that?
Nope. Nope, I've actually been single now for over a year.
Are you lonely?
Huh?
Are you lonely?
Am I lonely? Sometimes. But it outweighs the effect of what happens if I am in a relationship.
The fear of
just
anxiety
all the
and the
bullshit,
fear.
all the extra stuff that comes in being in a relationship and the extra like pressure it puts on someone, you know.
You'd rather be single.
I'd rather be single.
Rather be alone.
Yep.
What do you worry about? What are you afraid of?
Myself. Because I don't know, per se, my own limits in life, you know what I mean? Like, I've always been so quiet, though. Like, I just try to go through life as quietly as possible without making a disturbance, even though I know. Because I hate how everyone, like, always, ever since I've known, like, looks at me like, oh, you're gorgeous, you're so, you know, just all the sexual stuff, like, they see on me, like, it gets to the point where it's just annoying, honestly. It gets, like, I always wondered, like, if anybody actually would see me for me and not just because of how it looked, you know? Because my whole life has been like that. From foster family, you know, the dads or whatever, or people just in general, like, I've always just been, like, a sex symbol to people.
Even as a child?
Even as a child, like, it makes me always, like, it gets to a point so just almost annoying. That's why I think nowadays I don't care about sex. I don't feel nothing. Nothing, you know what I mean? It's just...
A way to make money.
It's my work. That's all it is. You know what I mean? And that's something that also stops me in a lot of relationships too, because I don't feel like pleasures or whatever. I never have. You know, and again, that goes back to my childhood, I guess, like not being nurtured and cared for or whatever. I'm like, it's numb to me.
Do you have any good memories of your life?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I just really blocked out a lot of stuff. You know what I mean?
Having your children?
Like I said, I've always just accepted that something was going to happen, so I just didn't let it happen. Even that might be a fun activity, you know what I mean? I didn't do it because I knew we were going to stop soon, you know what I mean? We have to end it sometime, and then it wouldn't be fun anymore, you know? And I'll lose all the happiness I was having, so.
Do you feel like life is unfair, or you're cursed or anything like that?
Something like that sometimes.
You seem
for sure.
Your life seems pretty like devoid
I
of
feel like it's
pleasure.
more I'm stuck. You know, just I can't get past like a level of life per se. And there's always gonna be a stump. Like even if I get like this close, I have to fall back. Like there's always something that happens. Like, and it's so simple too. It's like shit that anybody else should be able to do. You know what I mean? Like own their own like apartment or house or whatever, and you know what I mean? Just be more independent per se. You know what I mean? Have something of their own. I still can't get. And it's always like the stupidest reasons why I can't get it. Like now, I can't get my ID. I can't get my documents. I've even tried to order my citizenship document, whatever. And fucking every time, it takes a year and a half to order this document, just to order it. Like $500. And in that time period, Russia and United States gets into some bullshit, you feel me, hacking or spying or whatever shit, and they close the borders, and so you get denied. And so after, you know what I mean, that's another year wasted, like. And so like it's just like been a struggle for like 5 years now, just to even like prove who I am to the government, just so I can get help and just be per se like noticed or alive. Like I can't fucking get an apartment, I can't get a job, I can't do nothing. I lost my kids because of that, you know what I mean? I can't make money correctly, you know, as a law-abiding citizen because of a stupid ID or identity of me. So it's hard. Because you have to resort back to, obviously, being a sex prostitute, whatever, escort, dancer, all this kind of quiet, underground shit just to survive. Like, I'm not doing this for drugs. I'm not doing this stuff for anything else, for anybody else. Nothing. I'm just doing this so I can eat and try to keep a roof over my head. So, just to wait until hopefully paperwork is correct.
Do you still have hope of getting your life together or improving your situation?
Yeah, but then at the same time I don't, you know what I mean? But I just don't even try to think about it anymore, you know what I mean? I don't expect too much, but I don't expect too little either, you know? I'm still trying a little. For some reason, a part of me just constantly, it's going to, I don't give up. I mean, a lot of people always say, like, how am I still standing today compared to, like, a lot of people have already probably gone insane or whatever by the time they're right now in my age, just because of all the shit that's happened to me. But I'm still somehow, like, able just to keep on standing and keep pushing forward, like, another day. People just say, oh, it's the Russian in you, being, you know, you're so strong, and Russians are known to be that way, you know.
You've had to be strong since you were a child.
Ever since I can remember. You know what I mean? Even in the orphanage. You know what I mean? There's like 300 kids and something in the orphanage. I was taking care of the kids too, the 4 babies in a crib. You know what I mean?
Is there anything that you think you could have done differently in your life to maybe steer it in a better direction? It's not really your fault.
I mean, yes and no. You know what I mean? But
I mean, do you have any regrets of like? Oh,
I don't have regrets. Not really.
So much that you were just dealt some terrible hands.
I've just been able to. I wish it didn't happen to me. You know what I mean? The change of events. You know what I mean? That played out. You know, but at the same time, it is what it is. You know what I mean? It's got me to be who I am now, which I'm not also. Like, not upset about. Like, I wouldn't, you know, go back to try to change anything because it wouldn't make me me.
It sounds like you've never been in love.
No.
Do you have any hope of ever being in love?
No. I've just been able to accept that in my life. You know what I mean? It took me forever to, because I used to, as a kid, fight all the time to be accepted, to be something to somebody, you know, and that got me into a lot of other bullshit, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Just to be accepted by somebody. And it could be anybody, you know what I mean? I've given up my money, I've given up everything. Even though I knew it was hurting me, I still would do it just to try to feel accepted. But then I finally, for some reason, was able to just like realize that, you know what? I need to quit trying to just be accepted. Like, it is what it is. Like, I need to learn how to accept just myself. You know what I mean? So that's really what I've had to do.
What personality trait do you have that helps you survive?
I just look for next day. Like, I'm just living one day at a time. You know what I mean? I just try not to worry too much. You know what I mean?
But it's a very dangerous life you're living. I'm sure you've had bad things happen to you.
Oh yeah, for sure. but I can't. I wish I could change it. I wish I didn't have to do it. But again, I was dealt my hand. I was dealt, and so I have to make the best of it I can. And I am strong compared to a lot of people. You know what I mean? I do know how to like walk into a room, and all eyes are on me, and I'm able to hold myself, with more head on my shoulders per se. You know what I mean? And I'm not scared to like say what needs to be said, but it took me a while to get there. You know what I mean? To be able to actually like tell somebody no, you know what I mean, or just to be like I am an escort and I work for sex, you know what I mean, for money, all that kind of stuff. Like I'm able to stay there and say, so what? But as before, I was quiet.
But if let's say some guy met you and just thought you were great and wanted to bring you into his life and just give you a better life, do you think you'd sabotage that?
I wouldn't even accept it.
You wouldn't even allow it to happen?
I wouldn't even allow it to happen, because I've just learned in life that no matter, like any human, like for them to give something, they expect something back. You know what I mean? It can be good or bad, pros or cons. You know what I mean? Any action there is done as a human, So when it comes to that stuff, then it's like, okay, well, I'll think about it all quick and fast in my head. Like, okay, well, if that's what that is, how, take care of me, whatever, and just wants to put me on his wing, whatever. What does that do? What does he want? Sex? You feel me? What does he want me to do? Pay? You feel me? Like, there's always like that. I'm always going to like, okay, what does he want out of it? You know what I mean? And is this really what he actually cares? You feel me? Or is he just seeing me again as a sex object or just to look good for somebody else?
You don't even believe that unconditional love exists?
Mm-mm. You know what I mean? Because like I said, when I was adopted, I was a trophy. You know what I mean? The front page of the newspaper. I was a money buyout from America. America bought me. Literally saved me, which is crazy, like, to think about, like, that's all I was the front page picture in the newspaper and a tax write-off. That's all I was good for, So it's always been like, so what am I good for?
You would have been better off staying in Russia.
I mean, not even then. I honestly, because the orphanage wasn't any better. It was poverty and terrible out there. Kids are dying of yellow fever in front of me. We had our toilets were actually holes in the wall, in the fucking floor, and it was like hell freezing cold. It was like a warehouse that I was in. Fed once a day, maybe.
Is that why there were so many Russian wives, Russian women looking to marry American men?
Those are actually, honestly, they're all married in Russia. They're men, they're pimps, you know what I mean? Literally, their husbands out there, they're a ruler. Like, girls out there have still to this day, don't have a lot of say in a relationship.
So you're telling me all the Russian mail order brides are actually married to somebody back in Russia?
98% of them.
Their husbands are pimping them out?
So
they come to America and they get money and they're
told to, come to America, you feel me? And they even hook them up a lot of the time with the American that's going to bring them from Russia. Yep.
And the girl sends money back to Russia?
They can do it. They do it for years, and get their social. You feel me? And get all like literally will clear your whole life away. They're really like that, and it's crazy that people, a lot of people have actually experienced it. You know what I mean? But there's a big percentage of the girls are like that. They really do have somebody behind them, or even a family member will set them up that way. And that's what's crazy, because families out there, it's like generations and generations in one household. You know what I mean? So if your family's like that, and it's always been like a tradition in their family to do this kind of stuff, the next, the first daughter of each family, is sent out here, you know what I mean, as a money scheme or Ponzi kind of shit, you know what I mean? And they like literally train their whole life. I've seen it, like they've trained their whole life just for this whole act that they're about to put on. That might cost years.
And Anastasia, what would you say is the most important lesson you've learned in your life? After everything you've been through.
Shoot. Honestly, just that not to give up or not to honestly just expect anything or expect anything out of life. You know what I mean? Just to go with the flow more. That's really the lesson I've learned. Because if you set something like a goal per se, it's going to be not met. In other words, you know what I mean? You set a goal just for it to fail. For some reason, it's just how it is. Shit, I mean, my story is my life. I mean, I'm able to accept it. I don't want no pity from nobody. I don't want nothing, you know what I mean? Because it is what it is. I wouldn't want them in my shoes, and I don't want them to be in yours, you know what I mean? We all have different backgrounds, so I can't compare or complain. It won't change. It was fine.
I'm so sorry for you. Thank you very, very much.